Hello, Chino Hills. I'm your Mayor, Brian Jose, and welcome to the 2021 State of the City. We can all agree that this past year has been difficult for all of us. Everyone in our community has been affected in one way or another, but despite all of the hardships and challenges that 2020 threw at us, the City of Chino Hills continued to show perseverance and resolve through the strength within our community. As we reflect on the past, it is important to focus on the future and face the challenges ahead of us together, because united, we succeed.
Communities across the globe were tested beyond what any of us could have imagined in 2020 and so far this year. People have referred to 2020 as being the new normal, but we chose to do things differently. Instead of accepting the way things are, we united as a community and stayed resilient. The City of Chino Hills was flexible and retooled to continue to provide services to our residents, business owners, teachers, students, and neighbors. And this state of the city truly reflects unity within community.
Endurance was our motive, adapting was our goal, and it all started with safety. While continuously adhering to the health and safety guidelines provided at the county, state, and federal level, we made it a priority to keep our residents and our employees safe during the rising stages of the pandemic.
As directed by health officials, testing was and still is a priority to not only stop the spread of the virus, but to help drive our positivity rate lower and ultimately inch the county closer to less restrictive tiers. By partnering with San Bernardino County, we work to plan and provide various COVID-19 testing events, flu vaccinations, blood drives, and now COVID-19 vaccination clinics. Although the health and safety of our community continued to be a high priority, the pandemic economically damaged our local businesses, causing many layoffs and closures, and they too needed our help. We used funding provided by the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security (CARES Act) and launched multiple grant programs for micro and small businesses in Chino Hills starting in November 2020. Eligible businesses were awarded up to $10,000 in grant money that did not need to be repaid. That's funding put directly into the hands of our local businesses to help keep them afloat. As if dealing with the worldwide pandemic wasn't a big enough challenge, 2020 presented another one. On October 26, 2020, Chino Hills was hit with one of the biggest disasters to date, the Blue Ridge Fire. 13,694 acres burned, damaging much of Chino Hills State Park and causing nearly 20,000 residents to evacuate their homes and businesses. As the fire approached, residents faced fear and uncertainty, but our unity with community shined brighter than ever.
Neighbors were helping neighbors, and our community supported the efforts of firefighters and law enforcement. Many local businesses donated food and water to the people working on the front lines. By joining forces with our community partners and other mutual aid partners throughout the state of California, we were able to fight the fire with significant air support.
Although the fire came dangerously close to the Butterfield Ranch neighborhoods, Chino Hills emerged without any loss of life, homes, or major infrastructure. It started with the leading role of the Chino Valley Fire Department. Their courage, leadership, and dependability were on full display as they fought the fire on the front lines. Our Chino Hills Police Department helped execute timely evacuations, support road closures, and protect various neighborhoods. Our public works employees also played a key role in executing road closures and simply lending a hand wherever help was needed. The fire also triggered the activation of our Emergency Operations Center, a central location where all city emergency operations staff managed the assignment of support resources, kept informed on the fire status and evacuation needs. Our Community Relations Division communicated critical information to the public, and the city's IT division developed interactive evacuation maps. In addition, our Community Services Department helped the American Red Cross operate a temporary evacuation center at the Chino Hills Community Center. The Inland Valley Humane Society provided shelter for our four-legged friends, including dogs, cats, and even some llamas.
But in even the darkest times, there was always light to be found. Although the Blue Ridge Fire made its mark, our community learned from it. As with any community-wide emergency, there are lessons to be learned in communication, execution, and preparedness, so every incident becomes an opportunity to grow.
Since the Blue Ridge fire incident, the Chino Valley Fire Department gained 4 new fire engines and will see the development of a future fire station located at Soquel Canyon Parkway and Pipeline Avenue. Upon agreement with the Chino Valley Fire Department, the city will provide the land and pay $8 million to construct and equip the new 4-acre facility, making it the 4th fire station in Chino Hills. The city will then receive the former fire training facility on Eucalyptus Avenue, which is just under a 1/4 acre of land. In addition, Chino Valley Fire Department agreed to assume the responsibilities of all wildfire protection, something that the city normally contracts with CAL FIRE to do, saving us $152,000 a year.
With the Blue Ridge fire in the rearview mirror, we quickly realized that challenges come in all shapes and sizes. 2020 was not slowing down, and we intended to do the same. Rewinding back to March 2020, we started to hear the word pandemic, leaving many of us wondering what to do. Grocery store shelves were empty, toilet paper was a rare commodity, bottled water was nearly impossible to find. Then in the blink of an eye, COVID-19 reached the levels of a worldwide pandemic.
The city started canceling many events, classes, and programs to prevent gathering and mitigate the spread of the virus, and soon after, officially declaring a local emergency on March 16, 2020. The doors to our City Hall and City Yard closed to the public, and half of our city staff worked from home each week to attempt to prevent spread among our essential workers. On March 19, 2020, after initially proclaiming a state of emergency, Governor Newsom issued a statewide stay-at-home order.
The entire state paused, but we quickly retooled, and all of our city departments began to offer virtual services. Starting in April, we transitioned all city council meetings to virtual meetings.
This gave our residents the ability to stay in the know with all things Chino Hills, while still having the opportunity to voice their opinions during public comments. Due to the concerns of exposure to the virus, many of our services that normally require visits to City Hall transition to either phone or Zoom calls and appointments. Our Community Development Department revised its building inspection policies, instituting virtual inspections of occupied structures.
We didn't stop there. Our Community Service Department created virtual recreation as a way to continue to offer recreation opportunities. Resident engagement has always been something we pride ourselves on. So to help keep the engagement alive, we pivoted to bring back our community together virtually from the safety and comfort of their own homes.
Creativity was evident in the many contests that were conducted through social media. Virtual and take-home art projects were part of the Boredom Buster series of activities. Wellness Wednesdays resulted in the sharing of healthy recipes. And because fitness became challenging with the stay-home order and gym closures, fitness videos, exercise tips, and sports lessons were a big hit. Residents were more than happy to engage virtually with all the creative content being provided. We even went virtual with events like our annual Emergency Preparedness webinar. We successfully hosted a Zoom webinar with over 100 participants learning how they can be better prepared for an emergency. With the constant threat of wildfires, power outages, and earthquakes, it is critical that we keep our preparedness efforts alive.
When it comes time to reopening the doors to City Hall, we wanted to assure a safe work environment for our staff and safe experience for our residents.
We implemented strict safety protocols when entering City Hall by requiring that face masks be worn and the installing of COVID-19 guidance signage, social distance cues, hand sanitizer stations, and protection barriers. We also added appointment-based services and no-contact drop-offs.
From going virtual with many services to accelerating technological advances, we certainly adjusted as we needed to. Our Information Technology Division installed cutting-edge technology to meet the virtual needs of the time.
They developed and provided new mobile audio-visual systems. A total of 4 new mobile teleconference stations were provided for staff use and all of the key City Hall facilities to improve our webinar and virtual meeting capabilities. IT also rolled out new laptop docking stations so that staff could more easily work remotely and still access all of the files and software needed to do the job.
COVID-19 affected the way we handle physical objects, so the project that was moving forward well before COVID-19 ever hit ended up being perfect timing.
City staff goes through an extensive process with checks and balances for expenditures, which translates to an abundance of paper. We upgraded our financial system known as Munis, which allows staff to process invoices electronically with the same approval processes in place, but with a paperless workflow. Other technological advances in 2020 include improvements to our Emergency Operations Center at the Chino Hills Police Station, as well as upgrading our city mapping system, GIS Interactive Maps, a service that is available for residents to access on the homepage of our website.
Our technological advances continue to benefit the community overall. In fact, the city's automated license plate readers help the Chino Hills Police Department officers solve crimes. These high-speed, computer-controlled camera systems automatically capture license plate numbers which alert police and help them locate stolen vehicles, suspects of criminal investigations, missing persons, and much more.
Last year, these cameras helped our police department make 47 arrests for stolen vehicles and solve 5 other crimes. These cameras are a valuable asset in helping our police department prevent crime and protect the public, and we are grateful for them and the brave men and women of our Chino Hills Police Department.
We pride ourselves on the unique beauty of our city, from the parks to our trails, streets to transportation access, and everything in between. Our tireless efforts to keep Chino Hills a great place to be, even during a worldwide pandemic, is a true testament of that.
Kickstarting our progress was the grand opening of the much-anticipated Los Serranos Park in November 2019. With the help of the Chino Valley Unified School District, our Parks and Recreation Commission, and generous donations from the Chino Hills Community Foundation, McCombs Family Foundation, and the Howard and Nikki Applebaum Foundation, the city's 44th park was unveiled in the historic community of Los Serranos. 44 parks in one city is something you won't find in most communities. With California experiencing historic drought conditions, we took initiative to become a leader in water efficiency by installing drought-tolerant landscaping at various parks, including Los Serranos. In addition, we completed 7 turf replacement projects from June 2019 to June 2020, collectively replacing 84,682 square feet of turf throughout various parks to help reduce water use.
Now let's talk trees. As a proud Tree City, USA, we work to enhance the health of our urban forest. Starting in 2019, we began a large multi-project effort to remove hundreds of dead and declining trees and replace them with new native ones.
With the help of various grants awarded by the California Natural Resources Agency, we are on track to take out approximately 350 trees and replace them with about 480 native trees throughout the string of parks, including Hollow Run, Strickling Nature Park, and in the future, Eucalyptus Nature Park. We have a beautiful environment in Chino Hills, and that includes 48 miles of trails. The trails in our city are a premier amenity. Just ask any one of our residents. In 2020, we highlighted our city mobile app, which allows hikers to view any trail, check difficulty, distance, and elevation gain, see time estimates, and track their progress while enjoying our beautiful trails. In fact, our mobile app helped us earn the Award of Excellence from the California Park and Recreation Society for our excellent ability to promote and demonstrate our parks and leisure services. To take it up a notch, we continue to make progress on our trail enhancement project that included improving signage by adding mile markers, directional, and secondary access point identification. The project was possible thanks to a generous $75,000 donation from the Chino Hills Community Foundation. Improvements to our parks and trails was only the beginning. With the help of our engineering division, we committed $6 million towards pavement projects, improving over 13 miles of roadway during the 2019-2020 fiscal year. We are also expected to improve another 10 miles during the 2020 to 2021 fiscal year. With the help of Caltrans, the city made long-awaited improvements to the Sokol Canyon Parkway off-ramp at the 71 freeway by widening the road and adding a dedicated right turn lane.
We continue to invest in our Los Serranos neighborhood. Our Safe Routes to School project gave Los Serranos community more of the much-needed sidewalk and curb enhancements to their roadways, paving the way for students to safely walk to school.
This project was split into 2 separate projects covering the east and the west. The West project was completed in March 2020 for approximately $769,000. The East project is budgeted at $574,000 and will begin construction in mid-July of 2021. We also completed Phase 2 of our saddle replacement project in the Village Oaks and Overland Heights communities, a large-scale project that involved the replacement of corroded clamps that connect residential water service lines to the city's water mains.
Need a ride? Omnitrans has you covered. To keep the ball rolling with constant progress, we were pleased to assist in the announcement of the start of a new transportation service in our community, OmniRide.
This pilot program is a reservation-based, on-demand shared transit service like Uber or Lyft. Chino Hills residents can use the transportation service for the low price of $4 per trip. The fare includes a day pass that riders can use to connect to other Omnitrans routes. Download the OmniRide on-demand app to use the new service. Another major project is the city's housing element update, one of 7 required elements of the city's general plan. Every 8 years, the California state law requires cities to update its housing element to ensure it meets the housing needs for everyone in the community. As part of this process, the state of California is requiring all 500 cities in California through the Regional Housing Needs Assessment, which the city is mandated to comply with. Through this RHNA process, the state is requiring over 1.3 million new housing units to be planned for across the Southern California region. City councils and leaders have no control over the number of units the state allocates to them, and Chino Hills has been given over 3,700 units which must be included in the housing element update. It is extremely challenging to find sites for this number because our city is largely built out. Over the last couple of months, we have been collaborating with our residents through virtual workshops, bringing together city leaders, staff, and our council members to provide opportunities for community feedback as we work together to find a place in our city for these units.
Serving our community is one thing. To be continuously inspired by the community we serve is another. And Chino Hills never seems to lack inspiration. Our local businesses are the backbone of this community. As the pandemic took its toll, it was the perseverance and willingness to be fluid that kept our local businesses alive. And that inspired us. We wanted to contribute to the fight against this pandemic and lend a helping hand in any way possible.
We made it easier for businesses to be COVID compliant with guidelines set forth by local health officials. We did this by adjusting city codes and creating free permits to allow for temporary outdoor use and dining. Whether that meant moving dining tables to the parking lot or barber chairs under a tent, we wanted our businesses to have the versatility to pivot with the pandemic as it evolved. May I add, our local residents did an amazing job recreating the dining experience for their customers to feel a slight sense of normalcy. We further helped businesses by waiving temporary banner permit fees. This expedited the process to give businesses more flexibility to tell their customers that they are still open.
We were also conscious that with more time spent at home, residents were cleaning and organizing their homes. So we temporarily waived the yard sale permit fees. Like the business community, the overall morale among our residents needed a boost, and we were inspired to be that spark. What better way to enrich our community than by bringing back some of our signature special events?
Although the special events looked a little different than previous years, we were confident that our residents would still enjoy the experience, and we were right. Our movies in the park turned into movies in the parking lot, and the concerts in the park turned into concerts in the car. We pivoted and provided various drive-by events, including our annual Trick or Treat, where residents could still bring the little kids and big kids in costume for some treats. The pickup of free supplies to use at home so they could participate in the gingerbread house decorating contest. The drive-through pickup of hot chocolate and a virtual link to story time with Santa. A drive-through McCoy Holiday Lights event, complete with an appearance from Santa and his helpers. The annual Adopt a Family event for those who could use a little helping hand during the holiday season. And of course, our Active Adults 50-plus Christmas luncheon with food provided by Chino Hills Pizza Company and an appearance by Chino Valley firefighters. And let's not forget about our veterans. After starting the year off strong with a touching dedication ceremony and unveiling of the Military Service Monument at the Chino Hills Community Center in February, we were determined to keep the celebration alive by hosting a Veterans Day sign campaign, giving participants a unique way to be recognized for their commitment or a loved one's commitment to service. We also installed 6 signs in prominent locations throughout Chino Hills to honor our Purple Heart veterans, displaying our gratitude for their contributions and sacrifice.
But we weren't the only ones who were inspired in 2020. When COVID-19 forced many residents to make the difficult choice between going out for groceries and risking exposure to the virus, or staying home and not having food, our community united. Many residents took it upon themselves to do what they could to help our most at-risk communities.
Whether it was offering to shop for groceries, deliver food, or run errands for them, the community as a whole displayed their COVID kindness. Local organizations like Caring for the Hills, the Chino Valley Unified School District Hope Center, the Chino Valley Fire Foundation, and the Chino Valley Community Foundation all hosted drive-by events for residents to either donate or collect various items that were in demand during the height of the pandemic. The Chino Valley Fire Department established a new program called SOS, Serving Our Seniors, which focused on helping seniors with groceries, medication, and other essential services. Our Chino Hills Police Department even made sure to continue their tradition of hosting their annual Christmas toy drive to keep the holiday spirits high. For the young athletes in our community, inspiration was found through the drafting of 2 Chino Hills residents to the NBA in the top 5 in the same year. They joined the likes of NBA player Lonzo Ball, who is making a name for himself since his draft in 2017, and NFL kicker Tristan Vizcaino, who are all Chino Hills natives. For artists in our community, inspiration was found through our new Utility Box art program, a pilot program that we launched with the help of the Chino Hills Community Foundation and newly formed Public Arts Committee. The goal is to beautify neighborhoods and enhance the lives of our residents by showcasing visual art in public spaces. The first project transformed utility boxes into works of art.
Chino Hills has come a long way since its incorporation on December 1st, 1991. From what used to be home to a few ranchers and homesteaders, is now one of the most desired places to live in Southern California. As 2021 marks our 30th anniversary, we are thrilled to continue the strong vision of our forefathers to ensure continued success. We will always work to ensure that residents take pride in calling Chino Hills their home, and will continue to enhance the amenities that can be found here. The pandemic didn't stop our community development department from actively looking for new businesses to fill vacant space and settle in our city. We are excited to have Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory join us in the shops. Joining us in Gordon Ranch Marketplace is Dollar Tree, Blake's Swim School, and GC CrossFit. O'Reilly Auto Parts will be joining the newly added grocery outlet in the Chino Hills Shopping Center. With the emergence of pickleball as a popular sport, we are proud to bring 4 new permanent pickleball courts to Volano Park. Another gem for indoor and outdoor recreation in Chino Hills is the landmark McCoy Equestrian and Recreation Facility. 25 years ago, the late Helen McCoy leased her 20-acre ranch to the city of Chino Hills with very specific terms. At the end of the 25-year lease, and with a proven track record to uphold the equestrian heritage of the community, the city would have the option to purchase the property for only $1, with the intent to continue its use for equestrian and public purposes.
At the March 9, 2021 council meeting, the city vowed to do just that and officially purchased the property for $1. This transaction continues the rich equestrian heritage in our community. 2020 presented more than just challenges. Social movements unfolded, leaving many with a desire to be heard. Many gathered on street corners, exercised their right to free speech, and stood together in peaceful protest. Even with varied viewpoints, our residents displayed great unity while exercising their First Amendment rights. Another worldwide cause is the protection and enhancement of our environment. During our first ever community-wide neighborhood cleanup day, residents had the chance to make a difference in their own neighborhoods in conjunction with Worldwide Earth and Arbor Day. This event was just another example of the way our community embraces coming together for the common good. Many had fun with their families while teaching children the importance of respecting our environment. Every piece of trash and debris that was picked up individually made a larger impact on our community.
Aside from our community's ability to unite in times of challenge, our continued financial stability is equally worth celebrating. As we reach our 30th anniversary this year, the City of Chino Hills has accomplished maintaining its strong financial position through prudent, long-range policy decisions and sound fiscal management.
Our founding leaders had a conservative fiscal approach since the very beginning, and today is no different. The city will continue to monitor key economic indicators relative to the pandemic and will remain ready to adjust revenues and spending levels as part of its sound fiscal approach. This responsible budget approach has resulted in the establishment of a strong financial foundation, which is evident by our general fund reserve, which totals over $36.8 million.
While we may have experienced enormous challenges in 2020, the state of our city remains vibrant thanks to our endurance, resilience, and the greatest resource of all, each other. Together, we have paved the way to a promising future, one that highlights Chino Hills as a land of opportunity and a desired place to live, work, shop, and dine. On behalf of the Chino Hills City Council, I want to thank each and every one of you who contribute in some way to our community and who always remain focused on the betterment, hope, and unity within our great community. Together, we have endured, we have plenty to celebrate while understanding that there is so much more to achieve. Let's keep the ball rolling, continue to push the envelope of success, and further build on our ability to display unity within our community, no matter what the future holds.